The women who I know who are the most confident and secure in themselves are women who know that a win for their friend is also a win for them. Once you start practicing these things, your whole perspective will begin to change, because instead of seeing someone else's competition, they'll start to invoke inspiration inside of you. Hello and welcome to When Are You Free podcast. I am your host, Aaliyah Joyce, and I am so excited that you have decided to listen to me yap today. You guys, the summertime is here. The sun is shining. It is beautiful outside. It is time to break out the swimsuits. It is time for the seasonal depression to never be heard of again, for us to have fantastic food. We're talking fresh fruit. We're talking the grill. I'm looking for some stuff at the grill. I've never grilled anything in my life, but you bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna be outside grilling some stuff up outside. And I've seen this said online, but it's 100% true. When the sun comes out and it is the summertime, all of a sudden nothing bad has actually ever happened to me ever in my life. And so I'm delighted. I'm happy. I am in my grateful era. I don't know if you can see, but I have this cup. My friend got it for me for my birthday last year. Has my coffee in it today. And I just absolutely love it. It's so cute and pink and girly. Speaking of cute and pink and girly, today we are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics. And I feel like I say that about every single episode that I've ever done, but I truly mean it because I pick out the topic. So of course it's literally one of my favorites. It's my podcast. I love this topic so much. And what I'm referring to is the concept of being a girl's girl. Now, this is not a new trend by any means. I'm pretty sure that this actually popped off on TikTok a year, maybe even 2 years ago, where people started coining this term of a girl's girl. And when you first hear the term girl's girl, you might automatically go to traditionally feminine things, like almost like a girly girl, think the color pink and bows and frills and lace, all of that kind of stuff that is traditionally feminine. But when you look at some of the TikToks and YouTube videos that have been made about this topic, it goes a bit deeper than that. And kind of what I've gathered from all of them is that a girl's girl is a woman or a girl who really just enjoys the company of other girls. And above all else, they value female relationships, and female loyalty is the biggest part of being a girl's girl. Some of the TikToks that I've seen on it are kind of the ones where, a guy will be trying to cheat on his girlfriend, and the girl will receive the message and she's this isn't happening. So then she gets in the girlfriend's DMs and is like, hey girl, your boyfriend's a scumbag, just wanted to let you know. I've seen scenarios like that. I've seen scenarios where it's oh, I'm not gonna leave my best friend for my boyfriend. If anything, he's the third wheel in this relationship. Or kind of just about basic girl code human decency, where if you see a girl and you might not even know her, but see a girl in public and there is a guy making her uncomfortable, well, girl, I'm not leaving until I know that you're safe, because we're in this together type deal. And personally, why I love this trend is because it put into words something that I have felt, that I've embodied in my own character for a really long time. Growing up, I was never the type of girl that would have a lot of guy friends. I feel like to this day, sometimes I'm still just really awkward talking to men, because I feel what do we have in common? I don't know one thing about Sports Center. I don't know, but I know a lot about makeup and, the Kardashians and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was never the type of girl to have a ton of guy friends. I always felt most comfortable and at ease, understood, childhood when I was surrounded by other girls. And I used to always kind of be jealous of the girls who had a ton of guy friends and got along with guys like very well. I was always very jealous of other girls' ability to be able to do that. And I felt a little bit insecure. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, like, no, I'm just a girl's girl. You know what I'm saying? And so I just like, that just gave me like a little boost of confidence. I was like, yes, like that 100% describes me. Like I'm all about it. I'm all for it. And what I love most also, I just love my female friendships in general, just because there are some things that just men will not understand. You know, it's just certain things. It's like, how could I ever describe this feeling to a man? Like you would never in a million years understand like what this means. I went to TJ Maxx last weekend. I believe I went to TJ Maxx last weekend because I went to church and I just had the hankering to go to TJ Maxx. It was like a food craving. I was like, I have to go. I've got to get some perfume. I've got to buy some jewelry. Like I've got to get something, like a little bit of a fix. I just felt it in my soul. So I drive to TJ Maxx and then I'm in the car and it's all of a sudden, y'all, it just starts to pour down rain. Like we're talking monsooning outside, and I'm in the parking lot of TJ Maxx. Now, mind you, I'm wearing a long dress, like to the ground, long dress, cute summer spring dress with sandals on. And I also did not have an umbrella, a jacket, no nothing. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, and it's monsooning outside. It's getting really bad, and it's getting bad so fast. And I'm like, okay, like not a big deal. Like I'll just wait until it slacks up a little bit and then I'll go inside, right? 20-30 minutes are passing. I'm on TikTok, I'm scrolling, I'm texting people, I'm trying to pass the time. Y'all, it is not slacking up. And I was like, I have other stuff I have to do today, but I have to go to TJ Maxx. Like I can't, I'm not leaving. I'm leaving with something. I'm getting something. And so I was like, you know what? Like we're gonna grow up and we're gonna just get out of the car and we're going to go to TJ Maxx. And so I get out of the car and immediately my feet, sandals are submerged in water. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And the rain, it's like the type of rain, it's so hard, it's raining sideways. And so I am trudging through the parking lot, and you know, and also, you know, when sandals, you know, especially the ones like the little strappy ones, like when they get wet and the type of material, like my feet are getting stuck in the sandals as I'm walking, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then like my dress is getting ruined, my hair, like everything was getting messed up. And I was like, man, and I looked really cute this day. I was just very disappointed. Whatever. I get inside and I'm just like a drowned rat. Like I'm cold now. And my dress is like, it's not ruined, but it's really wet. And I'm like plop it around in there in my wet sandals. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. And so then I text two of my really good friends and just told them what happened in the most dramatic fashion, which is per my usual, about how I just, you know, survived a tsunami. And I was like, I just had to tell two people who understood the love of the game. And they were dying. Like we were just like dying laughing. Thought that was the funniest thing ever, because going to TJ Maxx is like an Olympic sport for us, and it means a lot. And I just love that. And that's just girlhood. All that being said, I have been lucky enough in big and also in small ways to be blessed with some of like the best friendships I feel like anybody in this life could have. I feel so grateful for the friendships that I, you know, have cultivated and have been blessed with, you know, over the years. And I also understand that some of you who are listening to this podcast right now might not have had that experience. Like there are some girls that I know that have actually had really awful, friendships in the past and have been burned by friend groups and backstabbed by some of their best friends. And while I don't understand it on a grand scale, I do understand a little. And I hope that this podcast today for you can help you feel understood and seen in those situations, and can also help you to continue to pursue other female friendships, because I truly believe that they're so powerful and they're really great. So whether you have had fantastic friendships over the years or you've had heartache from them, we all at some point or another have had struggles or issues with other women. Like that's just a universal experience. And one of my favorite movies of all time exhibits this perfectly, and it is Mean Girls. I love this movie. And if you have never seen Mean Girls before, honestly, you should probably pause this podcast right now. Like straight up stop listening to me and hop on Netflix or wherever it is right now and watch it, because it is truly a phenomenal film. But I'm just gonna, for all intensive purposes, I'm going to pretend that you have seen it. You all know the premise and you all know the big conflict. So like at the very end, Regina publishes the burn book, right? And all of the girls in the school start fighting and like have a huge cat fight, and then they have to have an all girls school assembly to talk through their issues.
But I can't help it if I've got a heavy flow and a wide set vagina.
Yeah, I can't do this. Miss Norbury, you're a successful, intelligent, caring, graceful woman.
I am?
There has to be something that you can say to these young ladies, something to help them with their self-esteem.
It's not a self-esteem problem. I think they're all pretty pleased with themselves. Okay. Okay, everybody close your eyes. All right. I want you to raise your hand if you have ever had a girl say something bad about you behind your back. Open your eyes. Now, close your eyes again. And this time, I want you to raise your hand if you have ever said anything about a friend behind her back. Open them. It's been some girl-on-girl crime here.
I love that. I love the whole movie. I love this whole scene for multiple reasons. But I also just that one thing that Miss Norbury says is like, oh, like there's been some girl on girl crime here. And I just love it because is that not the most true statement that's ever been said? Like we all have either done a girl wrong or had another girl do us wrong. And probably all of us have done both, where either you started it or it happened to you, where you spread a rumor and you were gossiping, putting somebody else down, you were left out of the group chat, or you purposely left somebody out of the group chat. You know what I'm saying? Just like things like different catty, rude things that we do to one another. I have had many a mean girl have I met, young and old, throughout my life. And I have also been the mean girl a time or maybe six. You know what I'm saying? I sometimes have been the mean girl, and I know that I have. You guys truly would not have liked me when I was in 6th grade. I was like a little mini Regina George. I just was not blonde and I was less popular than her, but I really I was a bully. That's just never good. And you would think that in this day and age, like especially my age range, like our generation, we would have moved past a lot of this petty stuff, because it's like, we were raised by, the cheetah girls, where it's like, oh, girl power, and listening, like growing up, listening to Who Run the World Girls or Taylor Swift, like talking about like, oh, if I was the man, like feminism is at an all-time high culturally. It's in movies, it's in songs, like it's in everything. It's about girl power and us empowering each other and empowering ourselves. Yet we still fight this age-old battle where we're competing against each other and putting each other down and all of the things in between. And when you start to kind of look at the causes for why that is, it's kind of crazy when you think about it, because it's embedded in every single part of our culture. So like just even thinking about the type of system that we have, like we live in a patriarchy where historically men have been the ones that have had all of the power and all of the resources, and women were always at the bottom of the totem pole, where, guys, like it wasn't until the 70s that women were even allowed to have bank accounts. Like, isn't that like freaking crazy that that really wasn't even that long ago? But it's just like, okay, like if men have all the power, women are at the bottom, what's left except for us to fight amongst each other for the little scraps that we do have? So we see that throughout history, but we also see that in popular culture. It's just so prevalent. If I asked you just at random, off the top of your head, to name some famous feuds between women just in popular culture, you could probably name them very easily if you keep up with pop culture at all. And I'll name a few. And this is just like off the dome. Sabrina Carpenter and Olivia Rodrigo, Beyonce and Taylor Swift, Meg Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, Hailey Bieber, Selena Gomez, Angelina Jolie, Jennifer Aniston. That was a while ago, but that was still relevant. So easy for me to just, pick at random, just like women who are kind of in similar spaces, and how maybe the feud, was real, or maybe it was fabricated, but it's just women in the same spaces being pitted against one another about who can be the best. And what's funny is that I can't as easily off the top of the dome think of the equivalent for men. Like, I don't think I would hear anybody say Justin Bieber versus Shawn Mendes, or Leonardo DiCaprio versus Johnny Depp, or Kendrick Lamar versus Chance the Rapper. I mean, maybe Kendrick and Drake, but they both brought that upon themselves, so that's a little bit different. And it just seems as if there is room for men to coexist in the same space and be great and successful, but it's not necessarily the case with women. So we see this on a macro scale with popular culture, but we can also see it on a micro scale with our everyday interactions with one another. And how I like to refer to these is mini competitions. And these mini competitions are essentially where you, in your own mind, will be in competition with another woman. Whether she knows it or she does not know it, you are in competition with her, and you're having this internal battle always between you and this person. Now, in this mini competition, there's a losing side and there's a winning side. And actually, both of them are bad. I'll give you an example for the losing side, right? Let's think of, let's say, that one coworker that is better, like in your view, she is better at your job than you are. She's a better engineer, a better scientist, whatever it is that is your occupation, right? And so you view that she's better than you. Or let's just say it's this one girl that you follow on Instagram. Her body's amazing. She is so beautiful. She's everything that you want to be, right? And you constantly are looking at this woman and just being like, oh, I wish I was as skinny as her. I wish that, I was just as intelligent as her. And anytime you see her, oh, I wish I could look like that, or you'll put yourself down and be like, oh, well, I can never do what she does, in everyday conversation, or maybe it's just internally in your mind where you're constantly every time that you're around her, you just feel less, and it makes you kind of shrink into yourself, and you don't sit up as tall, you don't smile as much. Whenever she walks into the room or you see one of her posts, it's your confidence in who you felt good, and then you saw her and you're like, dang, now I'm not having as good of a day. That's the losing end, which is terrible. But then sometimes the winning side is worse, and I'll explain why. So the winning side is kind of when you'll have something really exciting just happen to you. I just got a new job. I just got a new boyfriend, or just something that'll happen to you that's good. And the other girl will be like, oh, that's so cute. I love that for you, Oh, good for you. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know what I'm talking about. Those little phrases that people will say that is it's supposed to be a compliment or a good thing, but that girl is being so condescending. Like when she's like, oh, good for you. Like she's really being like, oh, that's cute. Like you're not, like she's basically like, oh, you're not impressive. Like I'm not impressed. Or like, look at that cute little job that you have. Oh, you guys know what I'm saying. You guys know what I'm saying. It makes me so mad. Oh my gosh. But it's true. It will happen where it's just like, oh, because she wants to win so bad. She wants to be on top of the situation so bad that she is willing to step on whoever to put herself on top, or so she'll diminish other people's accomplishments, whatever, like that, so that way she'll be better. So that's one form. But you also have the one-upper. Oh my gosh. And you get y'all, this one's really evident. Like whenever it happens, you catch it. It's so quick, but you catch it really fast. It'll be like, oh, like I ran, 4 miles today. And then, well, I ran 6. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. This cute guy, like at the bar, like he's totally checking me out. Like I could see it. It's like, oh, well, like he was, flirting with me too earlier when I was on the way to the bathroom. And it's like, we're actually mutuals on Instagram. So, and I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like, girl, like what is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like going to, Costa Rica for spring. I've already been like 2 times, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Like just stuff like that. It's like, okay, girl, you win. If you want it so bad, like you can have it. They constantly just have to one up another person. And I just, it makes me queasy thinking about it. And it makes me queasy thinking about honestly both ends of this spectrum, because I've been both. I've been both the girl that feels so intimidated by someone else that it makes me a shell of myself. And I have also been the girl that I wanted to feel confident in myself. And in order to do that, I decided to stop on another girl to get there. And I think that they're both kind of gross and icky. And at a certain point, I just feel like I got so tired of playing the game, of these mini competitions, because you can just, you never can be on top 100% of the time. And even if you are on top, like you best someone or whatever like that, it's like feeling the need to put someone else down in order to elevate yourself, like to elevate your own position or your own self-worth is gross. And it's also not lasting. It also kind of makes you just a bad person. Sorry about it, And honestly, why does life have to be about who is the most beautiful or most successful or intelligent or anything like that? And that's a podcast episode for another time, but keep that in the back of your brain and your subconscious, because that's a good thing just to keep tucked in, because why do we do that? But for today's purposes, let's focus on how we can improve the relationship with ourselves and therefore our relationships with other women, from one girl's girl to another girl's girl. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is an abundance mindset, which you might have heard of before. But I think it's important whenever you realize that you have an issue, there's got to be a lot of internal work done before the outside is going to reflect that. And that's like in any case scenario. And so the first thing that we need to work on is our own mindset. A lot of the time, when we are feeling self-conscious or insecure, which is what a lot of this mean girl behavior and insecure, like this low self-esteem behavior, like stems from, it's because we feel like there is something in our lives that we lack, whether it's a material item or a characteristic about ourselves, or just some life goal that we haven't obtained. Whatever it is, it feels like, oh man, like someone else has this, like we see it on someone else and it's like, oh, well, I don't have that, so I feel like I'm less. You know that feeling that you get when somebody will tell you some good news, that's going on in their lives. They just got their dream job, or like they're about to get married, or just something like that. And you are happy for them and you're like, oh, that's so great. But like on the inside, I feel kind of bad because I'm not content with my own life right now, or I feel stuck in life, or whatever it is. And honestly, girl, it's just me and you. I'm sure you're in the car by yourself or driving somewhere by yourself, whatever, like it's just me and you. You can be real and you can say, yeah, I felt that. Like, like I've done that before. Part of the issue and the reason why that happens is because we have a mindset of limitation, a mindset of lack. Like, because we have that mindset, that's why we get into mean girl mode, or that's why we get into sad, self-deprecating mode. She got the job I wanted. He noticed her, but he didn't notice me. So we belittle somebody else's accomplishments, or we'll toss our friend to the side the second that a guy glances at us. Literally, that's the insecurity issue, the whole thing. That's why pick me girls exist, is because they are so insecure in themselves and they don't believe that they're going to get another opportunity. And so anytime a guy looks their way, they're like, please pick me, because they're so desperate and they're so insecure in themselves that they feel the need to chase after something. When you shift yourself from this perspective, you start to realize that life has more opportunities, relationships, and beauty for you to have than you ever thought possible. And y'all, the gag is they try to trick us into thinking that this isn't true, but there really is enough for all of us. There's enough room for all of us to have it. And even more so, doubling down on that, you don't need what that other girl has. And the reason that I know that is because that is for her. That is her life. That is her path. That's her gifting. That's her calling. That is her life path. You have your own, and your own stuff that is meant for you in this life, like opportunities beyond your wildest imagination, relationships, love that you haven't even experienced yet, so many wonderful things that are on the other side, but you're so busy looking at what's going on over here that you don't have the foresight to see it. Like, you can't even see it because you're always looking over here at what someone else is doing. If you continue to walk in your own lane, in your own purpose, the things that are meant for you are going to come. I promise. It's literally like, I'm telling you, it happened to me, and it is happening to me, where I will take my eyes off of what she's and this person is doing, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all of this good stuff that is happening for me because I'm focusing on my own goals and my own desires and my own dreams and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is great, and look at all of these amazing, fantastic opportunities that are coming my way. And people say this all the time. It's an old wise saying, but it's like, the grass truly is greener where you water it, where you cultivate it, where you're putting in the work is where you're going to see the fruit. And so I would highly advise, do not waste your energy with those doom scroll sessions on Instagram where you're looking at the bikini photos and wishing that you looked like her. Cut that out. Don't expend your energy trying to extinguish another girl's light. Instead, focus in on yourself and your own passions, dreams, and goals. And you're going to find that the life that you want is going to start popping up all around you because you're putting the work into it. The second thing that we need to discuss is focusing on others. Now, I know I literally just said to focus on yourself, and then I turned around and said focus on others, but hang out with me for a second on this, right? So there is a healthy version of focusing on yourself. And what I mean by that is therapy, journaling, exercising, feeding yourself nourishing foods, getting enough sleep, all of that stuff. Focus on yourself, girl, 100%. There's also an unhealthy version of focusing on yourself. And that looks like obsessing over your weight, negative self-talk, constantly wondering how you're being perceived by other people. There is a fine line between staying in your own lane and then hyperfixating on the gravel inside of the road. There's a fine line. Who else like scrolls through their socials and will pretend like you're a stranger seeing your feed from an outside perspective and being like, oh my gosh, like if somebody looked at my profile, like what kind of vibe would I give off? You know, like I've done that, but it's just like we do that. Or you will come home from the group dinner late at night being like, oh my gosh, like what if this person thought this when I said this? And what if I was awkward when da-da-da-da-da? And you're just hyper fixating on this like small, minute thing that happened that you did, and you blow it up out of proportion. And it's just proof, you guys, that we all think about ourselves way too much. We really do. We hyperfixate on ourselves. And when you are a person that hyperfixates on themselves, other people do notice. This could, again, be on both sides of the spectrum, where you're a person that like will all just be talking and you will like volunteer like negative information and experiences about yourself, where you'll like, nobody's even talking about it, but you'll just be like, oh yeah, I'm such a mess and da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm no good at that and da-da-da-da-da. Like just offering up like really negative information about yourself. And it's just kind of like, people do notice that. You know, like people do notice like when you're constantly flipping the situation back on yourself, even if it's just to voice your own insecurity, people do notice that. And then there's also the other side of the spectrum. You're having a conversation with someone and like they think that they are truly God's gift to humanity, and they'll just be talking and talking and talking about themselves, and it's been 30 minutes and they haven't asked the other person another like anything about themselves. It's all about their accomplishments and all about what they're doing and whatever they're interested in and what they want to talk about. Yeah, don't be that person. Instead of being in your own world all the time, begin to take a real interest in other people. Try to be an active listener when you're in conversations with people. And what I mean by that is like, don't just listen to people to listen to people. A lot of people will listen to people just so that way they can get their own response and own thoughts out. You're just listening to respond. Don't listen to respond. Take the time to hear people and seek to understand them. Really take in what they're saying. Truly try to understand what perspective that they're coming from. Start to remember things that people say to you, so that way next time when you see them, you can follow up about it or get updates about it. Remember people's names. Like, I'm the world's worst about remembering people's names, but it's really important and it matters to people, and it should matter to us. These are simple things, like basic human interactions 101, but a lot of people lack these skills. And by practicing these things, you are going to build better relationships with other people and therefore yourself. And so whether you're a person that tends to be a little bit like on the more self-centered side, or maybe you're a person who has lower self-esteem, we could all stand to take a step back and humble ourselves and look around and realize, hey, we ain't the only ones here. Like, we're not the only people here on planet Earth. And there are so many people out there that, you know, are worth being known and loved and seen and heard by you. And the last thing that I will say is to make complimenting and encouraging a daily practice. Now, this is so important. And the reason being, as a woman, it is so hard in today's culture because of the societal expectations that are placed on all of us. And not only that, we all have these internal expectations that we place on ourselves that a lot of the time are super unrealistic. And so it's so important that we uplift one another. Don't add to the reason that another girl doesn't think that she's good enough. Instead, lift her up. That is extremely important. So tell that random girl that you saw in the park today that her outfit looks amazing, that you love it. Give it out. It's free. Let that other female coworker that you know that is slaying at her job, let her know, like, hey, we all really appreciate what you do for our team. A lot of the time, the work that women do gets overlooked, especially in male dominated fields and male dominated, occupations. Let her know that she's killing it. Not only that, like, especially for the people that you really do love, your best friends, or just even good friends of yours, even casual acquaintances, if you must and if you want to, push it further. Don't even just like compliment, like take it a step further. Let's say, like, if you know that your friend is trying really hard to get in shape and get healthy, offer to go on a walk with her because you're like, girl, I want to see you achieve this goal. Let's get after it together. Or if you know that your sister is trying really hard to pass an exam, instead of being like, girl, let's just go out, being like, oh, actually, no, girl, I'm going to stay inside with you and I'll run through these flashcards with you. Or even if she just needs you there to be silent, just sit by and read with her, be like, oh, like I'm going to help her reach her goals. The women who I know who are the most confident and secure in themselves are women who know that a win for their friend is also a win for them. I used to not operate this way. I used to be so insecure within myself that I would think if there are people around me that are like more beautiful and more accomplished or whatever, that somehow it took away from me and that it made me less. But again, these mindset shifts, they're so powerful because once you start to see like, oh, I have this abundance mindset, I'm going to take the focus off of myself. Or when you start passing out compliments and just like caring about other people's goals and stuff on the regular, I'm telling you, it changes your whole mindset. Once you start practicing these things, your whole perspective will begin to change because instead of seeing someone else's competition, they'll start to invoke inspiration inside of you where I'm like, oh my gosh, hey, look at my friend. She's a successful doctor. She's a baddie. Like, yeah, and I'm friends with her, like, look at my girl go. She is quite literally a Victoria's Secret model, like in the flesh. And I'm rocking with her. One of my other friends, I'm like, oh, she's married to the man of her dreams. I love that for her. And I'm rocking with her. This woman is so great. And I'm standing right at her side. If I'm standing beside someone that great, then I must be doing pretty good too. And I also must have a lot of blessings on the way because look at how blessed she is in her life. So now I want to surround myself with people that are beautiful and that are talented and strong and successful, because it pushes me into greatness as well. And I also want to assist her in her greatness because I care about them. So that is all that I have for you guys today. This was such a fun one. I have been wanting to talk about the whole topic of being a girl's girl and all these lessons that I've learned for a hot minute, just because again, I feel like I've had such amazing friendships over the years and such good examples from other people. And I've learned so much. And it's like, I really want to share. I really just wanted to share some of these things that I've learned. And so I hope that something that I said today is helpful to you and that it somehow makes you walk a little taller today, or it helps you to uplift someone else so that way they can, and that's kind of the whole point, is that like we want to empower ourselves, but it's like also we want to empower other people. These are universal lessons, but again, I was just speaking to the girls today because a girl's girl, it's just obvious. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. And if you did, please leave a comment on Spotify, YouTube, or on my Instagram, wherever. Let me know if you enjoyed it and if you want to see more things like this. So that is all that I have for you guys for now, but I will see you next week on When Are You Free? Bye.